Okay, what I'm going to be talking about now is the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius. Now, what I've emphasized a lot of the times is you get a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction every 20 years. So in that way, it's not that significant. Where this one is significant is they tend to repeat in the same element. So for about 240 years, we've had Jupiter-Saturn conjunction repeating in Earth signs. And what we're getting now is a shift to the air signs. So that makes it a little bit more significant, plus it's coinciding with the beginning of the age of Aquarius. And what sign was it in? Aquarius. So what I did is I looked back to see what happened the last time the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction switched into air. So it didn't switch to Aquarius first, but it switched from Earth to air in 1180. And we're going to just look at one aspect of what I found out going on in 1180 here, or 11 in the early 1180s, because not just 1 year, it'll influence the whole 20 years, which is why you can also cast charts for countries based on the exact time of the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, which I've done for the UK and the US, and we're going to look at that, not now. But, you can do mundane astrology just using that time and then putting in the location of the capital cities to see how those countries will be influenced in the 20-year cycle. So it is kind of a 20-year cycle, but this one's more important because we're entering a 240-year cycle. Right, so what was one of the strange things that were going on? Well, first of all, you'll remember I said that when Neptune was in Aries, in 1216, we had Henry III who came to the throne, and in 1377, also a time of Neptune in Aries, which is coming now in 2026, Richard II came to the throne, and both were children when they came to the throne. All right, keep that in mind now. So what do we see happening in the 1180s? Well, I'll read the highlighted bits because they are other interesting things as well. We had the 11-year-old Alexios II, who reigns briefly as ruler of the Byzantine Empire, another child ruler. Then we go here to Louis VII. He is succeeded by his 15-year-old son, Philip II. That's in Paris. Then we go Emperor Takakura. This is in Asia. He is succeeded by his 2-year-old son, Antoko. Interesting. In Japan, that is. So we've got all these child kings. Here we go. King Philip II of France. There you go. He's doing something there, which will become... Actually, I won't go into that now because that's going to become relevant in one of my other broadcasts. But as we go on here, you see here, May the 12th, King Valdemar I dies after a 28-year reign, and in which he gains independence from the Holy Roman Empire, and he is succeeded by his 19-year-old son, Canute VI, who becomes ruler of Denmark. Then we go back to Japan here, where 3-year-old Emperor Go-Toba ascends to the throne of Japan. March the 16th in the Levant, we had Baldwin IV. He dies of leprosy, and he is succeeded by his 8-year-old nephew, Baldwin the Fifth. Isn't it crazy? All these children succeeding their parents. Not sure if there were any more in that list, but there you go. There was just a few to give you the flavor. So, what's going to happen right now that's similar to that? We have Greta Thunberg. We have the cult of youth. Are we going to have someone put forward as some kind of prodigy child, some sort of redeemer, some young person who's going to come to the fore and take on the reins? Maybe behind them will actually be AI. It'll be all manipulated. Then remember what I said, the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that happened in 6 BC was actually what signified the birth of Jesus Christ. That was interpreted by the kings of the Magi, who were Zoroastrian astrologers who understood the significance, and they followed the bright star, which was the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, to find the birthplace of Jesus. So there was the birth of a Messiah. Are they now going to tell us that another Messiah has been born? When you watch this, bear in mind the 2 other vlogs I've done on this day, one on Revelations and the other one on the age of Aries and Judaism, because I feel this could be a very important shift. So they could use what's being foretold in Revelations, that there will come a second savior, to imply that a person they put forward, this young person, could be the Messiah. As you see, there's definitely a theme going on. So we will wait and see, but let's just look out for some very young person that is pushed forward, probably by the media, and the politicians as some sort of savior in some people's minds, which will be interpreted as maybe a messiah, but this person could be the false prophet or just a distraction or just more cute. I'm also interested in this guy who's cropped up. He's very interesting, actually. He's called the Young Pharaoh. And he has some rather interesting ideas and quite a following. And I thought, well, these were all young people, young pharaohs, weren't they? So maybe he's going to gain a lot of influence and have a lot of an effect on people because his name kind of fits into the theme we're talking about here. So it's very interesting to see what will actually happen. But I always like to look back, see what was going on at pivotal times, and see if we can project forward and wonder how those themes might play out in a modern day scenario. Bearing in mind what's going on now, all bets are absolutely off. And let's think about it. Politicians through this whole scenario that's going on, and no matter which side you're on, you've lost trust in them. I mean, there'll be certain of the sides that say they haven't done enough, and then there'll be others who say, well, they did too much, it was too authoritarian. But whichever way you look at it, very few people are happy with them. And I think we're entering the end of the era of politicians. We're entering a post-democratic phase. So are we entering the phase again of the so-called benevolent dictator with AI behind him? Or are we going to have this sort of, like I say, this young prodigy, this young person that's going to be ballooned up as the next big thing to unite us all? God, I don't know. Maybe it'll be an alien person. I don't know. Because they're talking a lot about that as well, aren't they? So just some ideas, and I hope you enjoyed. Hope you're all keeping well. Lots more coming to keep you amused as this lockdown drags on and on and on and on. I believe it's sort of coming back on in France, Italy, Germany, and the UK. We're supposed to be coming out of it, but they're hedging their bets totally. They certainly are dampening down expectations, and we're looking to America for inspiration now because, oh gosh, you guys in Texas and Florida, well done you. Hey, that's a way to go. So that I'm talking about, and I'm going to be looking at an article about Iran, definitely going to be focusing on Iran. Definitely, got to watch Iran. Something big going on there. Got my eye on Iran, got my eye on Russia, although I'm not going to do a broadcast about Russia too soon. It's mainly going to be about Iran and some other tidbits about China. And yes, and definitely examining the network, the inner core, because I think we talk about it in a vague concept. And I think it's time to nail it down how all this thing is actually operating on almost like a business level. So guys, thanks for watching. Take care. See you all soon.